the volume of a cylinder. A cylinder is a prism, and the formula for the volume of a prism is V equals A times H, where A is the area of the base and H is this distance here. Now, for a cylinder, the base is a circle, so we know that the area of a circle is pi r squared h. So that's the formula that we'll use for calculating the volume of a cylinder. First example, we want to work out the volume of the cylinder shown. So V equals pi r squared h. First problem then is the radius of the base. Well, we're told this here is the base diameter, and we know how to get the radius from the diameter. The radius is the diameter divided by 2, so 12 over 2 gives us a base radius of 6 centimetres. So pi times 6 squared times the height of 40. That gives us a value of 4,523.9 centimetres cubed. Example 2. What we want to do in this example is to work out the capacity in litres of this cylinder. Now the first thing that we have to be careful about is that the height is given in metres. So multiply that by 100, that gives me 120 centimetres. Volume equals pi r squared h. So it's pi times 30 squared times 120. That gives us 339,292. And that's centimetres cubed. How do we get from centimetres cubed to litres? We divide by 1000. Now we don't have 3 zeros to knock off, but if I divide by 1000, I'm going to move the decimal point from this position here 3 spaces to the left. So we get 339.292 litres. And if I was to round that to the nearest litre, well, the point 292 is less than 0.5, so that will round down to 339 litres. Example 3, we have a cylinder. Now, in this case, we're told what the volume is, and we're told what the height is, and what we want to do is to work out the base diameter. So this is quite a tricky question, but you've done this sort of thing before. So volume equals pi r squared h. $5654.87 equals pi r squared times 50. Now, I want to get r squared on its own, so I'm going to have to get rid of 50 and pi. Those quantities are multiplying, so divide by 50 pi. $5654.87 over 50 pi equals r squared. And if we do the calculation, we find out that r squared equals 36. And the last thing we have to do is to get rid of the square. We do that by taking the square root. So r then equals the square root of 36, which is 6 centimetres. The last thing we have to do is to work out the base diameter. We know that diameter is twice the radius, so that would give us 2 times 6, which is 12 centimetres. Here's a tricky question, example 4. We know that the outer diameter is 12 millimetres. Now, that means that this distance here is 12 millimetres. So what we can do is work out the volume of the outer cylinder. You can see that we have one cylinder here, and then there's a hole cut to the centre of the shape. That's the second cylinder. So volume equals pi r squared h. Pi times, well, we know that the radius is 6 times the height. Now the height is 100 centimetres. Now that 100 centimetres, if we multiply by 10, gives us 1000 millimetres. So that's pi times 36 times 1000. So that's 36,000 pi millimetres cubed. The next thing I'm going to do, that's the volume of the full shape. Imagine we had a cylinder with no hole cut through the centre. That's the volume of the solid cylinder. We're told that the volume between the inner and outer cylinders is 11,000 pi millimetres cubed. So this part here is 11,000 pi. What I'm going to do then is to subtract the 11,000 pi from 36,000 pi, and that will give us the volume of this cylindrical hole. So 36,000 pi, take away 11,000 pi, gives us 25,000 pi. And that is the volume of the hollow cylinder. So we want to work out, we really want to work out the radius of the hollow cylinder. So volume equals pi r squared h, 25,000 pi times r squared times, the height is 1000. If I divide both sides by 1000 pi, that will simplify things considerably. So I'll have 25,000 pi over 1000 pi equals r squared, and that means that r squared equals 25, and if r squared equals 25, r equals 5 millimetres. Now if we double the 5 millimetres, that gives us 10, and that is this distance here, which is to say the diameter of the hole in the centre. So that is 10 millimetres. 12 take away 10 is 2, and then if we divide that by 2, we get 1 millimetre. 1 millimetre then is this distance here, 1 millimetre here, and 1 millimetre here. So the value of x is 1 millimetre. That was a tricky question.